Alright, all you kids out there who want to be influencers one day, I'm just gonna tell you, when that happens, you're automatically fighting for the title of the most hated person on the internet. You don't even have to do anything. You have enough followers and you're automatically thrown into the ring. But have you ever found yourself wondering who the kings or queens of controversy actually are? If you have, then you've come to the right place, because here we've got all the details. It is safe to say that both Jake and Logan Paul are the reigning heavyweight champions of internet scandals. Sure, they've had some tough competition over the years, but no one else has managed to make it part of their brand. They've literally built their careers out of being as shocking as possible. I mean, we all remember Logan's very infamous Japanese forest video. Disgusting. And okay, maybe Logan was the one doing most of the heavy lifting in the drama department, at least for a little while. It was his name in the headlines. He was the one people would always point to when talking about how problematic the Paul brothers actually were. But Logan's notoriety doesn't mean that Jake has ever been innocent, though. Cause he definitely hasn't. There are more than enough controversies tied to his name to prove that, including being raided by the FBI in 2020. He's just done a better job at hiding it than Logan. But when your competition is the Japanese forest incident, that isn't exactly hard. 2021 is shaping up to be a year of influencers being held accountable for their past behaviors. Finally, with James Charles holding myself accountable scandal to David Dobrik's whole thing, the list just keeps getting longer and weirder. And, well, it looks like Jake is about to be included on that list. But before we get into why, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Trust me, we're gonna keep you updated on all the latest tea. Okay, with that out of the way, let's just get those of you who aren't very familiar with him a quick rundown of who he is. You've probably heard of him at least. It's hard to imagine anyone that hasn't. You might know the name, Jake Paul, but what you may not know is that he started his career back in 2013 on Vine.
Yo, pass the spaghetti. Okay, alright.
After Vine was shut down in 2016, R.I.P. Vine, we'll miss you forever, he, along with a bunch of other well-known Viners, including his brother, moved over to YouTube. In that time, he's managed to gain over 20 million subscribers, and even had his own show on the Disney Channel at one point.
And Henderson made it to his daughter's wedding.
Then, in 2020, Jake decided to take a step back from YouTube. While he hasn't actually left the platform and he still makes a lot of videos for his channel, there has been a noticeable shift in his content. Instead of his usual prank videos, vlogs, and even music videos, if that's what you want to call them, there is now a much larger focus on his career as a professional boxer.
Jake Paul with a first-round destruction.
But despite all of that, the thing that Jake is probably most well known for is founding the Team 10 House. Now, the Team 10 House is kind of interesting by itself. Before the Hype House and the Sway House took over the scene, there was Team 10. They were the first of their kind. They really set the trend for that kind of production house. It started in January 2017 and was essentially just a talent agency, kind of, designed specifically for teenage influencers. They'd get a bunch of kids between the ages of 14 and 19 and invite them all to live in this huge mansion together with Jake. The idea being that it would be a lot easier for them to make quick and easy content if they all just lived under the same roof. And they advertised it as being a way of teaching these youngsters how to become successful influencers in their own right. It seems as though it was pretty short-lived because Team 10 haven't made any kind of content together since 2019. And even before that, during their 2-year run, they managed to work their way through 2 separate casts. But okay, now that we've established who Jake Paul is, let's start getting into what exactly he's been accused of. The allegations that have started coming out against him are really serious. A lot more serious than some of his previous scandals, because if they're true, then this time he's hurt people directly. So, you might be wondering why we focus so much on the Team 10 House. And that's because it plays an important part in everything that Jake's being called out for. Without it, none of these allegations would have happened. Let's go back to the beginning. This all started on April 9th, 2021. Well-known TikToker Justine Paradise sent shockwaves across the internet when she uploaded a video about Jake to her YouTube channel. The entire video is basically just her talking about an extremely harmful interaction that she had with Jake back in the summer of 2019. She starts off by saying it's something that still affects her to this day. One of the very first things she says is, quote, "I think about this a lot. I think about it every single day." Before then going on to say, "I feel guilty, even though I was the one who was hurt. She then goes into a lot of detail about her relationship with Jake, and it was a real relationship. You know, they were actually friends. They'd hang out. They'd ask each other about their day. They'd text each other all the time. It wasn't just a one-off incident with someone that she didn't know. She trusted him. She felt safe with him. Justine goes so far as to explain their first meeting. According to her, they met when a mutual friend asked her to meet up, but didn't mention that the address was for the Team 10 house. She says that before she was even let into the house, she had to sign an NDA, which is kind of weird. As one commenter says, an NDA doorbell is normal for nice guys. But regardless of how weird that is, they started hanging out. Eventually, it got to a point where they were talking outside of their mutual friend. Jake would invite her over to hang out, even when their friend wasn't around. Although she does say that Jake would never talk to her in person. Even if they were in the same room, he would apparently just text her whatever he wanted to say and refuse to actually speak to her. Which again, super weird. But as one user points out, he uses that awkwardness to disarm you and make you doubt yourself throughout the interactions with him. Now, according to Justine, while she was in the studio with him one night, pulled her into a corner and started kissing her, which she says she was fine with because she thought that he was cute. After that, he led her to his bedroom, where they continued making out for a while. Whenever Jake put his hands somewhere that Justine didn't want them, she would push him away and make it clear she didn't want to go any further. She thought she would be safe because, as she says in the video,
and I thought it would be fine to kiss him because I thought he would stop if I didn't want to do anything else. Like, that's normal, that's what you do.
That's when things started to take a turn for the worse. Justine says that when he realized they weren't going any further than kissing, Jake got really weird about it and said,
if nothing is going to happen, then what's the point?
Instead of stopping, Jake then allegedly pinned her to the bed and forced her to touch him in a way that she definitely wasn't comfortable with. She says that it didn't last very long, but that once he was done, he immediately started acting as though nothing had happened. Now, Justine makes it very clear that while she was happy to kiss him, she was not a willing participant in what came after that. At one point, she says, quote,
he didn't ask for consent or anything. That's not okay. On no level at all is that okay.
Naturally, Jake has denied the allegations. He posted a statement on Twitter saying that while he takes this kind of behavior extremely seriously, the accusations were 100% fake. But while he claims that there is no truth to these allegations, that might not be entirely true. It seems as though Justine isn't the only person that Jake has done something like this to. A few weeks after Justine's video went viral, the New York Times dropped an absolute bombshell of an article. Rayleigh Lawley was one of the people that they interviewed, and she talked about her own experiences with Jake. She started working with him back in 2017 when she was only 17 years old, and he would apparently make constant remarks about her appearance. He even nicknamed her Jailbait. Dude. Rayleigh says that after they finished filming a video together in late 2017, Jake touched her inappropriately and ran out of the room after she told him to stop. She quit not long after this incident and told reporters, quote, I was with Jake for months, and I saw what kind of person he was behind the scenes and what kind of person he put out to the rest of the world. And then in the same New York Times article, former Team 10 member AJ Mitchell came forward with his own allegations against Jake. Man, April 2021, really not Jake's month. Anyway, this time the allegations were entirely different in nature. AJ claims that while Team 10 was active in making content together, Jake was stealing their money. To become a part of Team 10 and move into the mansion, members were asked to sign an agreement first. Now, this agreement meant that Jake would receive 10 to 20% of each member's YouTube ad revenue for up to 5 years, even after they left the group. And you might be thinking that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you pull in the number of views per video that Team 10 was pulling in, and you're doing it to multiple people for that long, it works out to be a lot of money. Jake would also supposedly manage every member's business email account and screen potential brand deals for them. AJ says that during his 14 months with Team 10, he wasn't even paid anything, let alone told about any brand deals. In that time he was there, he says he was only paid for 2 brand deals directly. On top of that, Jake was apparently using his fame as a form of currency. AJ told the New York Times that Jake wasn't afraid of manipulating people, saying, quote, if anyone didn't do what Jake wanted, he'd tell everyone else in the house not to tag them. Jake had a monopoly, and he decided who got famous. While we don't know if any of these accusations are true or not, what we do know is that Jake is about to have a lot on his plate. These allegations coming out against him around the same time as his biggest match to date are going to keep him busy for a while. And with the way 2021 has been going for other popular influencers, well, Who knows? Maybe Jake is about to get KO'd. Aha! See what I did there? But what do you guys think? Is Jake guilty? And if he is, do you think he'll ever face any serious consequences? Let us know in the comments below. See you next time.